Alrighty, so this funny picture is creating much of a fuzz on my social media on this dark Monday morning. And the name of it is Iraqi oil spill or something like that. Now, granted, it is about a synthol. Some of these faces we know already. Now, these two guys are absolutely on synthol for sure. The one in the center is on synthol and actually on Adobe as well, right? The guy next to him is quite famous on my social media. His name is Farazdak Asimawi, pretty much the biggest synthol out of Iraq. We spoke about other synthol from Brazil, like Orlando, and it does happen too into professional bodybuilding. I mean, this guy I don't even know his name, but absolutely Oill. That is no doubt about it. Some more notoriously known bodybuilders were at first suspect, and then it became rather clear, at least in my opinion, that they'd use it, and even at a very high level. We're talking about the late Nasser El Sambari. This guy was second to Dorian Yates, and well, some say he should have won Mr. Olympia 20 years ago, 1997, right? The last one of Dorian Yates. On record, I do think he used SEOs as a testament. You can see the latest pictures here when he placed number 9. Actually, the real delts has nothing to do with the development he had in previous years. Same goes with his biceps, right? Everybody pretty much knows that. It was rather clear, and believe me, I followed his career rather closely back then. Some other notoriously known social media figures, Rich Panini, on record, he said that he messed around with SEOs. However, the godfather or the creator of this trend, so to speak, everybody speculates. Some go to Craig Valentino, some say it was some bodybuilders in the 90s. Well, the talk, though, can go back a little bit further. It goes back to a giant, right? I think he's from Austria, the country of Arnold, of all countries, if I'm not mistaken. His name is Manfred Hoberl. Manfred Hoberl, right? He used to have a 25-inch arm back in the day. He's a giant of a man. And well, funnily enough, he was not a bodybuilder, so to speak, but he was a strong man. I do recall waking up early in the morning to follow the strongman competition. He used to battle versus a Brit back in the day. He placed second, sometimes he won. And that Brit, whose name was Gary Taylor, right? And his arm was always suspect. Of course, back in the day, nobody knew about oil or SEOs or things like that. The thing is, we do know for a fact that the regular vitamin S can indeed act as an SEO. It is an oily substance after all, right? So if you push it in a small muscle group, it will act as a stretching factor for the fascia. So Manfred Hoberl might just be the godfather of SEOs, although it's not synthol, so to speak. As a matter of fact, most of the guys that we talk about, those Brazilian oil or Iraqi oil, they are not using synthol. They are not using synthol. Do not get it twisted. Now look at this arm development. He was never lean. As I mentioned, he was a strong man. He never dieted. And some might argue, say, bro, this guy is in a strong man competition. How can he be strong and have an oil? Well, it happens even in powerlifting, guys. You see some powerlifters clearly having some deformed biceps, for that matter, that is the result of clear use of SEOs. These guys are not loyal. These guys are absolutely oil. And go back to E.T., Ernie Taylor. It became obvious at the end of his career. Look at the teardrop. It cannot be a natural muscular development. I mean, look at it. It is just obvious. And then the front double biceps. How on earth a triceps can have such a weird shaped little lump? It's not even, it's like almost a 90 degrees angle. And the other side is the same. Same goes with his definitely legs, as we mentioned. those teardrops are not loyal, they're just bumps. Definitely clear. And for the record, Mr. Olympia of back then, Dorian Yates, was defending him because he is a Brit, just like him. And one day, Ernie Taylor placed ahead of Mike Matarazzo. May he rest in peace. And Mike Matarazzo was infuriated. He was really mad. And he said they gave the win to this legless kid from Britain. He was talking about Ernie. Just because these judges were impressed by his triceps. And then Dorian came and said, bro, I know Ernie since he was a kid, and those triceps are real. I can vouch for him. I can confirm that it's not an implant, it's not oil. But be my guest. If you look at this picture, can a triceps development be like this? Quite frankly, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, no. Can the teardrop have some lumps like this? I don't think so as well. And at the end of his career, the muscular development just looked not right. It looked definitely offset, and that's that. In my opinion, this guy definitely messed around with SEOs or any kind of substance that made the fascia of these muscles go berserk, go really, really weird. Just my opinion. So for by the same token, strong man can definitely develop that. And look at the outer head of the quad. It's definitely taken its independence. Remind me of a current very famous bodybuilder that I spoke to on private. Said, bro, what happened lately to the outer head of your quad? It was pretty much your weakness back in merely freaking 2014. All of a sudden, we see a huge independence in the outer head of a very top current bodybuilder. And it goes to show that freaking top guys do it. I mean, Lee Priest, who had the craziest arms of his time, and probably number one or two of the history. There is him and there is Rolly Winkler. I think that on record he said that he messed around with oil, right? I'm not saying that his arms are all oil, but I think that he did confess that. So it goes to show, and same goes with a guy named Flex, right? So in my reckoning, Manfred Huberl, just his arm looks so not deformed, but the muscular development doesn't look okay. The shape of it, the sweep is just definitely unusual, and he might be the godfather of SEOs. Definitely the tricep sweep doesn't seem loyal. It does not match rather efficiently with his biceps. So even though he was one of the strongest men in the world, he might just have been also the initiator somehow of the oil gains. That's what's up. Don't forget to like the video and tell me what you guys think about it.